One of the most significant concerns with the lockdowns was the increase in gender based and domestic violence. How did that manifest in India, and how did the elected women leaders manage that within their constituencies?
In India, like in other parts of the world, we did see an unprecedented spike in gender-based violence. And this is particularly so during the second COVID wave, which took place this year. And at a time when India was registering almost 400,000 COVID cases on a daily basis, the government response was focused more on management of the health dimensions of the pandemic. And somewhere the issue of gender-based violence hasn't really received adequate attention. So just to share an example with you, the Commission for Protection of Child Rights in India estimates that between April 2020 and August this year, about 8,000 children have been orphaned. Over 92,000 children have lost one parent. And many of these, of course, are girls who face even higher vulnerabilities. So we can well imagine the magnitude of neglect, of abuse, of exploitation that these children are exposed to. And yes, the elected women have played a tremendous role amidst these extremely trying circumstances in addressing the issue. And this has been possible primarily, I think, for two reasons. Firstly, because they are located in their very own constituencies, they're very well positioned to identify women and children who are vulnerable. And secondly, by virtue of them being public office holders, they're very well positioned to raise these issues and ensure that appropriate action is taken. So during this time, we witnessed that elected women, despite the challenges of the circumstances that they found themselves in, they've kept an eye out for incidences of child marriage, domestic violence, trafficking, and have taken steps to address these. So in the last 4 months alone, the elected women that the Hunger Project works with have in India facilitated over 800 cases, the registration of over 800 cases of domestic violence, of child marriage, of child abuse on government helplines for women and children. And over 600 children who've lost their parents have been linked to various kinds of social protection schemes, to compensation that the government is providing for these children during this time. So yes, the elected women have really risen to the occasion. And to give you a glimpse into the work that the elected women are doing during the pandemic, I'd like to leave you with a clip of Jamuna, an elected woman from the state of Orissa, who ensured that right at the very beginning of the pandemic, citizens in her constituency had access to accurate information about COVID, which is so very critical. And by doing so, ensure that effective management of the pandemic is done at the very local level.
The number of cases has crossed the 10,000 mark.
पूरे हिंदुस्तान में लॉकडाउन लागू हो चुका है।
ओडिशा रे प्रथम कोरोना आक्रांत चिन्हट हेबा परे
आज सेतेटा भी नियंत्रण को आसीना
डर लागुला जो मोर छुआटा थिला जतला मो कोरोना हेले मो कार सेवा करि पारिबि नै ए डरटा मते रहिथिला डर मते थिला साहस मते थिला गोटे थर तो समस्त जाई बुझे कहवाटा समय मिल नथिला हमको सेते माइक सेट रे 2-3 थर एमती अनाउंस करथु सब प्रत्येक गां जाई बुली कहि रिकॉर्डिंग करके 4टा कोविड सेंटर खोला जाइଥିଲା हम पंचायत रे भद्र व्यक्ति मानु डाकी पंचायत रे मीटिंग करथली आशा अंगनवाड़ी मीटिंग करथली किछटा साहाय्य कला
स्ट्रॉन्ग लीडरशिप तो बहुत मेन इंपोर्टेंस अच्छी लोक मिसकनसेप्शन जोटा रोचे फास्ट से दूर करा पड़े